said that he didn't have the right name. Well, now all of them know his goddamn name.
With the vision of a city that every New Yorker could afford. We have won.
Well, how about that? Just as you thought good things were not possible, a Uganda-born 33-year-old Democratic Socialist is set to become the first Muslim mayor of New York City. So in this video, I'm going to go over the incredible victory from Zohran Mamdani in last night's New York City primary race for mayor, and including a couple of clips, reactions, what to take away from this entire thing, starting with a clip from his speech last night.
We have won because New Yorkers have stood up for a city they can afford. A city where they can do more than just struggle. One where those who toil in the night can enjoy the fruits of their labor in the day. Where hard work is repaid with a stable life. Where 8 hours on the factory floor or behind the wheel of a cab is enough to pay the mortgage. It is enough to keep the lights on. It is enough to send your kid to school. Where rent-stabilized apartments are actually stabilized. Where buses are fast and free. Where childcare doesn't cost more than CUNY. And where public safety keeps us truly safe. And it's where the mayor will use their power to reject Donald Trump's fascism. To stop mass ICE agents from deporting our neighbors. And to govern our city as a model for the Democratic Party. A party where we fight for working people with no apology.
So apart from running just a fantastic campaign with the amount of volunteers he had, with the endorsements that he had, his ability to communicate, underlying all of that was a fantastic platform circled around affordability. So universal childcare, free buses, freezing the rent, city-owned grocery stores. When you have a platform this specific, this solid, speaking to the needs of people, it's going to resonate. Yet you had, places like Fox News, Kelly Ellis shared this on Blue Sky, trying to, I guess, fearmonger around the platform. But they're just listing all the fantastic things he's fighting for here. But, when it's in caps lock, end ICE cooperation, oh, it's very scary. Raising the minimum wage, terrifying stuff. Like, it's just, there's nothing they could possibly do because he owned what he is. He is a Democratic Socialist. He owned that, so they couldn't be, oh, he's a scary socialist. No, he says what he is. He's upfront. He's clear. His platform is clear and specific. They can't fearmonger around the vagueness of what his platform is because he's very specific about it. There's no ability to really fearmonger here. So it connected, obviously. Now, the amount of money being spent against him is truly remarkable. So Andrew Cuomo up here, we'll get to his speech in a second. But $35.6 million in super PAC money being spent in his favor. So a lot of that came from billionaires and financial tycoons, such as former Mayor Michael Bloomberg, hedge fund manager Bill Ackman, and others from outside New York, including Alex Karp, the Palantir co-founder, a staggering sum for a municipal election. Bloomberg also donated $8.3 million, according to public filings, while Ackman donated $500,000 to Cuomo's super PAC. And a lot of that as well, we're talking AIPAC money, really tried to fearmonger around Zohran Mamdani being someone who stands up for human rights. That's terrifying to a group like AIPAC. And if you're wondering about this Zohran Mamdani money in the Super PAC section, that apparently came from David Hogg's group, Leaders We Deserve. They gave $300,000 to a Working Families Party Super PAC supporting Zohran Mamdani and a slate of anti-Cuomo candidates. Really cool to see this. It's not expected. You don't normally see this kind of support, but David Hogg's politics have only improved over the years, and it's really good to see that support going to a candidate that deserved it. Now, a bit of a breakdown here by racial majority. So Mamdani won white voters, Hispanic voters, and Asian voters. This refutes a lot of the bullshit you're hearing from the right wing, people like Stephen Miller, who's a white nationalist, saying the commentary about New York City Democrats nominating an anarchist socialist for mayor omits one point: how unchecked migration fundamentally remade the New York City electorate. Democrats change politics by changing voters. That's how you turn a city that defined U.S. dominance into what it is now. Crystal Ball replying to that saying, in reality, Zohran won white people as part of his multiracial coalition. Miller has to lie about this because when different racial groups are working in coalition, it defeats the logic of his blood and soil white nationalist project. Very important point there. Now, this part was a little interesting. So I was curious about this. I looked up an explanation on why this is. The fact that Cuomo won voters making under 50 grand. And there's a really good reason for that. So RevCap on Twitter says this: hear you, but it's misleading. Truly affluent neighborhoods, Upper East Side, Upper West Side, Tribeca voted strongly Cuomo, and very low income areas in the ex-urbs did too. Mamdani monopolized what in New York are middle income professional cohorts who likely save little after tax given cost of living. Going on to explain, making 100 to 150K in New York City, you are barely saving anything if you live near a population or work center. That number is 200K if you have a kid. I think it makes a ton of sense why Mamdani's message resonated. This speaks to the cost of living. Like, yeah, okay. To people living outside of a major city like New York, 100 grand is a lot of money. But if you're living in New York City, where the cost of living is insane, it doesn't mean quite as much. That dollar doesn't go as far. So this speaks to why just looking at the breakdown doesn't really give you the full picture of the reality. Now, public policy polling, the only pollster to really see what was coming, tweeted this out. We were right, and one of the biggest outliers that turned out to be correct in modern polling history. And there's an easy explanation. We polled the 2025 electorate rather than the 2021 electorate. Mamdani led Cuomo 63-18 with voters who didn't cast a ballot in 2021. That made the difference. Mamdani brought out new voters. This is crucial. This is like I have discussed this point every election since 2016. The reason why Bernie Sanders would have won that general election against Donald Trump if he was able to win the primary. The primary, there's a lot of restrictions. A lot of people don't vote in primaries. But you get to a general, more people are likely to vote. And if you have someone who actually excites people out to vote, has a real message, you get a lot of non-voters out to vote for you. This is why this kind of candidate, speaking to the needs of people, who is on the ground, who is well known amongst the people, a candidate like this is how you win against the right. Someone that speaks to affordability, speaks to the needs of people, has a clear message against concentrated power, concentrated wealth. Mamdani had all of that and was able to bring that into the campaign. Now, I want to get to Brad Lander, who is one of the unsung heroes of this race. Brad Lander and Mamdani cross-endorsed each other because it is a ranked choice ballot. And he also said to not rank Cuomo at all. And that definitely led to Mamdani being able to open up this lead that he did. Here is Lander last night.
Andrew Cuomo is in the past. He is not the present or future of New York City. Good fucking riddance.
Great stuff there. So, of course, Zohran Mamdani was not as forward about Andrew Cuomo in his speech because he's the winner. He's not going to, slam Cuomo in his speech. But it's good to see someone did. It's just enjoyable to see Brad Lander here and understand how important this was. So Matthew Sitman on Twitter sharing this. Hard to think of a politician in living memory, at least mine, who's acted with more integrity and class than Brad Lander has these past few weeks and months. If Zohran pulls it off, Lander's refusal to punch left and fearmonger will be a major reason why. So this speaks to both the benefit of ranked choice voting. It benefits candidates to work together, but also this speaks to Brad Lander and his character. Somebody who at one point understood he was not going to win the race, but he also is principled, did not want Cuomo to win because of his politics, would prefer Zohran Zohran Mamdani as they're more similar in their approach, and had that cross endorsement. So it benefited the entire city that Brad Lander was able to step back and recenter what's important in the race and focus on ensuring that Cuomo did not win. So really good stuff there. And this is a very nice moment in the near the beginning of Zohran's speech where he brings up Brad Lander.
And I want to thank Brad Lander.
Very nice moment, and two lessons out of what Brad Lander did. One, the benefit of ranked choice voting, which made it even easier for Brad Lander and Zohran Mamdani to cross-endorse each other and also campaign on not endorsing Cuomo. But also the selfless act that Brad Lander did here, understanding that he was not going to win the race. And at some point he decided that he's going to focus on this cross-endorsement and ensuring that Cuomo was not going to win. Now look at him. He's a hero. People love him. So this is a lesson for other elections out there. If there is a split in the vote, there's several candidates that are moving or that are on the progressive side of the race. Coalesce around one person and do so in a way where you center the issues. You center what the ultimate goal is, and that is ensuring the best outcome for working class people. If you do that, the people will love you. You may not win whatever race you're running for if you have to endorse somebody else, but you're going to have a position. You're going to have a place in that city, that district, that state, whatever it is. So really good to see that selfless act from Brad Lander. Now, a quick clip here from Andrew Cuomo. I know, don't worry. Quick part of his concession speech. I just want to show what he said.
Tonight was not our night. Tonight was Assemblyman Mamdani's night, and he put together a great campaign, and he touched young people and inspired them and moved them and got them to come out and vote. And he really ran a highly impactful campaign. I called him, I congratulated him, I applaud him sincerely for his effort, and let's give him a round of applause and thank him for his campaign.
Now, I'm not going to praise Cuomo here, but I do want to point out that this could have gone a lot differently. A few years ago, India Walton won her primary race for the mayor in Buffalo, upsetting the mayor Byron Brown. He did not concede. In fact, he went on to run as a write-in candidate. And because of the business support, the business community, the establishment forces within Buffalo, he was able to win that race as a write-in candidate against the Democratic choice, India Walton. Cuomo is conceding here. I'm going to assume that concession sticks, and he's not going to run again in the general. We're going to see. There's also Eric Adams, who's running as an independent. But the amount of support that's behind Zohran Mamdani in terms of, he has the Attorney General, Letitia James, the New York City Public Advocate, Jermaine Williams, New York City Controller, Brad Lander. He has a lot of forces within New York City that India Walton, I'd have to go back and reanalyze that race. But I don't believe she had that kind of support that Zohran Mamdani has in New York City. So it's a different situation now. I'm not as worried that an India Walton thing is going to happen in this race. But it is worth noting that Zohran's not the mayor until he actually wins in the general. But Cuomo look, I had some more prepped on Cuomo. I don't think it's worth it. It's just a weird candidate. I mean, the stuff that was already on him, right? I'm glad they ran him because he's a terrible candidate, but just a wild choice. This moment, I have to share that just because it's funny. It's pretty funny. This was shared by Dr. Thrasher. I'll just play it in the window.
Folks who are coming in, do they look like they were out working today, or are they?
Yeah, to be clear, so this reporter is at Cuomo's party, and this is what the reporter there says about it.
Just kind of showing up for the party.
No, these are the people who their work was through writing checks for the Cuomo campaign. People who have supported through donations.
Pretty funny. These people, were they out there working as, are these volunteers fighting for Cuomo? No. Volunteers? No. These are people that wrote checks for Andrew Cuomo. That's why he was even in this race at all. I mean, to be clear, the reason was in the race at all is because of his last name. Because he was the governor. His dad was in New York politics. I mean, it's ridiculous, these dynasties. So that is the reason Cuomo was able to even have a campaign, was because of all the money he received. But I got to share this too. This is Letitia James with just a fantastic moment here for Zohran.
The primary is now over. It's over. And tonight, we celebrate the victory. Tonight represents a resounding win. His critics said that he should wait his turn. His critics said that he didn't have the experience. His critics said that he didn't have the right name. Well, now all of them know his goddamn name.
Just a wonderful moment. I love the excitement, the positivity. Great stuff. Just a few last reactions here. Alil Cruz on Blue Sky shared this. Zohran Mamdani is the only Democrat in the mayoral race that released an LGBTQ platform and the only Democrat in the country that I know of to commit to safeguarding gender-affirming care for youth and adults with money. He was not scared to stand up for trans people. Awesome to see, and clearly it did not hurt him. I'm not going to get into it now. I have to stop myself. But I've done several breakdowns now of the absolute bullshit that's been claimed about the election in November. That, Kamala Harris lost because of trans rights, which she never even spoke about. And if you actually look at exit polling, why people voted, it was because of the economy. They simply voted for the other person because their current situation was not good. When it came to trans rights, it barely made, it was the very last issue on the list. So people, because for the obvious reason, most people are not trans. Most people vote based on what personally impacts them. So anyways, I got into it, didn't mean to, but it's just, I find the misinformation around this to be really troubling. And understand, fight for what is right. Fight for human rights. Trans rights are human rights. If you're not fighting for trans rights, you're not fighting for human rights. You're anti-human rights. Last few things. Ken Klippenstein sharing this. 62% of Democrats think their party's leaders should be replaced. This should be a lesson for the party. The proletariat saying Mamdani is important for a number of reasons, but I'm not a New Yorker and I'm not a staunch reformist. Mamdani is important to the nation because his success will beg the question, well, why not in my city too? Ideas spread and gain popularity. We can see ourselves in them. Absolutely. This is not just a New York victory. This is a victory for people. Last thing here. This also happened. The Buffalo mayor was lost to a progressive. So Sean Ryan defeated incumbent mayor Christopher Scanlon. This got less play. I've barely read about this at all, but thought it was worth noting. I think it's good to see at least two positive victories coming out of New York State. Really good stuff. Let me know what you think about this race below the video, how you think this may impact politics going forward, and your thoughts about Zohran Mamdani.